Blockchain, crypto, NFTs, DeFi, metaverse, Web3 is literally eating the world, and community builders are the new leaders. Hi everyone, I'm Bilal El Alamy, co-founder of PyratzLabs, a startup studio fully dedicated to Web3 startups. In Pyratz Land, I'll give the mic to Web3 builders, founders, and investors so that we can deep dive with them into what is truly about Web3 entrepreneurship. No conventional bullshit, only creativity, rebellion, and community-driven insights. Hello, Seraphie.
Hello, Bilal.
I'm super pleased to have you on the podcast. It's great to see entrepreneurs like you in Paris. So, can you quickly introduce yourself, maybe?
Yeah, sure. First, very happy to have this chat with you today. So I'm Séraphie de Tracy. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cohort, which is a Web3 digital engagement solution for brands and businesses. Before that, I was working at Stratumn, which is a blockchain startup again. And before that, I was working in large corp in France and in the UK. So a background of large corp, very small startup, very early stage startup. So I've been, on both sides.
Interesting. When was your experience at Stratumn?
So I was Chief Operating Officer of Stratumn from 2018 to the beginning of this year.
Okay, super interesting. So you were doing what, B2B during the worst time in...
Yeah, so I remember pitching, Bitcoin, blockchain at, a large corporate in 2019. And at that time, I remember people were looking at me like with huge eyes, like she's crazy. So yeah, I spent like 4 years there selling traceability of financial flow to large corp. And at the end, we had very large customers in France using our solutions to put traceability in their financial flows.
Super interesting. And I heard it was the company where the co-founders of Sorare used to work.
Yeah.
How were they on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I only spent a few months with these guys. So I was recruited at Stratumn by Nicolas Julia. So he was my boss for a few months. A great guy. I can't say I've not worked a lot with him, but he was a really good guy. And what I can say is when they decided to launch Sorare, I was like, everyone around us were like, okay guys, good luck with that. So I guess we missed the point. But I guess thanks to these guys, I discovered NFTs and the NFT technology. So it was. But Stratumn at the time was a bit a group of like really huge blockchain enthusiasts, and many of these guys went to other blockchain companies, or they started their blockchain companies.
Super interesting. I was yesterday with Laszlo from Skills, which was renamed Kiln, also another OG that is doing pretty well in the ecosystem. All right, thanks for the introduction. Let's dig in a little bit into you. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Paris, and in a family of 3 kids.
Okay.
My family was a family of scientists and doctors. So when I told them, at 18 that I was going to join do the prépa for business schools, they looked at me like I was like I didn't understand something, I remember my father looking at me and saying like, why, why would you do business? But I started this, but I guess the science background is really important in my life. I mean, in my education, I always enjoyed, math and science. So I already kept that in my mind, and I think maybe it's one of the reasons why I love blockchain, because there is a lot of math in it, crypto. So I like this kind of stuff.
And how would you define the shift? Was it like in opposition of your parents, or is there someone that influenced this choice when you were younger, or many people maybe?
Yeah, I guess maybe it's a bit of opposition. So no, I guess I need to go to psych to do a therapy. But yeah, I guess there is a part of that. I wanted to do my own stuff. My brother is a doctor. My other brother was in science, and I said, okay, I want to do my own thing, and I chose this path.
So you're the youngest among the 3?
Yeah, okay. I'm the little sister. I have 2 other brothers.
And so Is there someone who influenced you as a young kid you were looking up to? I don't know, was it just Steve Jobs from the US or maybe your uncle who was an engineer? Or?
Yeah, no, I've always been very fascinated by entrepreneurs, I guess. I remember my older brother was like a huge fan of Elon Musk from the very beginning. You know, I remember he was talking about this guy like from the PayPal days. And I guess in my childhood I was influenced by the guy at eBay.
Okay.
It's very early, you know, web entrepreneur. And I remember, I don't know why, the bubble, the dot-com crisis very vividly.
Okay.
Like, I was a kid, but I remember like following the news and so something, yeah, around that. I enjoy this kind of entrepreneur stories.
Interesting. And would you mind like sharing the origin of the project? How did you end up at Cohort, being the CEO here at the Office of eFounders?
Yeah, so I guess it's really linked to my previous experience at Stratumn. So I spent 4 years at Stratumn working in a blockchain SaaS company. I was the CEO. I loved it. You know, I had the most amazing years. We had a lot of fun. It was really hard. We discovered a lot of stuff. Very hard. But every day I learned something. And I said, okay, there is no way I'm going to go back now to a larger company or to something else. And I knew I wanted to stay in blockchain. The company was sold at the very beginning of the year. And I knew two things. I want to stay in blockchain. And I want to start my own company because Stratumn was a complicated story with a lot of different, with founders leaving the company. This time I wanted to be, you know, to have my own company. So it was really important to me.
And when you used to work with corporates, was it in retail? Why in retail?
No, it was in, so at Stratumn it was in financial services. And I knew something as well for Cohort is I wanted to do something else. Meaning I didn't want to work in the large enterprise space because today, you know, it has changed quite a while in the last decade. I guess 10 years ago, you could be successful with like 5 to 10 million in the large enterprise game. Now you need to have 20, 30, 40 millions to make it work. And in France, it's still very hard to get this kind of funding, you know, very early in the company. So.
Almost impossible.
Yeah, large enterprise is exhausting, so it's a resilience game. I wanted to do something with a high pace, fast, you know. So Cohort is a SaaS made and designed for small and medium brands, and that's what I love. You know, every week we have a new customer. Every week we have 2, 3 new projects. You know, and that's the great thing about, you know, SMBs and mid market.
All right, super interesting. And can you describe a little bit of your solution? What does it bring to brands? How do you proceed? Do you have an example to share?
Yeah, sure. So what we do with Cohort is we provide a new engagement channel for brands to reinvent customer relationship online. So we see two things. First, customers want more privacy, more control over data. They are fed up with, you know, data monetization by the big GAFAM. And the second thing is that they want more experiences, they want more, you know, intimacy with brands, they want more, you know, sense in their relationship with the brands. And these two things together create like a need for something else. And then come NFTs, which are bringing two great things. The first thing is data privacy, and the second thing is interoperability, meaning that with one NFT, you can do like a lot of different stuff. And I think these two things together means that we have the perfect tool for brands to reinvent customer engagement online. And what we do with Cohort is to make that accessible to every single brand, from like a two-man shop to a mid-market company like Etam, with whom we're working since like day one, I guess.
Super interesting. Let me think of maybe another question. What was hard in the execution of this vision? You know, it's always like fairly easy to have ideas, a little bit more harder to build the product, but then you always have a lot of complexity, specifically when you're working with corporates, like, I don't know, legal processes, compliance, authorization from the head of fidelity or whatever. Can you share a little bit some of those constraints?
So I think having worked in large enterprise, I've had a lot for me because I spent 4 years, navigating large corporates and complex sales cycle. So I know when you need to engage and when you need to drop. So I'm very harsh with sales qualification. So I do one meeting, and if I see it's going nowhere, because I see that there is, something else in the background, like a competitor very well anchored in the place or something else, I just kill the opportunity. And I think it's the only way for me to go quick when you're like very constrained in terms of resources, because at Cohort we are 7, which is and including 5 in tech. So it's only 2 of us doing marketing, sales, business, and ops. So we can't do everything. So my only advice to early stage entrepreneurs is you kill opportunities when it's not leading somewhere. Being very harsh with that, because otherwise you're gonna be called every day by consulting firm like trying to do innovation with large corp, by advisors, by this kind of stuff. Just don't do it. That's really the key thing.
Yeah, it reminds me one thing that one of my first investors told me. He told me your job as a CEO is to close doors.
Exactly, exactly, and I fully agree with that.
And all right, and do you have a community around Cohort, or is it mainly focused on a B2B stage, or how do you help also the companies manage their communities?
Yeah, so it's something that we are wanting to expand in this area, because today so Cohort is a SaaS solution, so it's really much a product, but it's very early days for Web3, so you can't really expect your customers to do it by themselves and to figure it out in 2 weeks. So we are going to expand in that. What we are going to do first is to create templates and playbooks for our brands. We're working on that with a pool of content writers to really help our customers to educate themselves. And what we're doing right now is to create campaign templates to help other brands to jump in the train and to start. So we are going to do this kind of stuff. And I spend
what does it mean? You want to create a chat messagery so that people can discuss among themselves? What does it mean? So you want to help them use Discord?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we are going to create our own community around our solution, because we can. NFTs are great
so you're
for
talking
that.
On a Cohort standpoint. Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to create, because I think Cohort as a whole, other players have, like Ariani, like you, who are doing a great job in educating the market, and we need to take part in that. And the best way for me is for prospects to start playing with NFTs. So what we can do as Cohort is use our products to make them, learn.
Experiment, okay.
Experiment, So we're going to create a learning course on Cohort, free, so people can just start, playing with NFTs.
Super nice. Okay, and so right now you have this SaaS software that allows brands to create custom-made NFTs for some token-gated experiences, and there is this very important matter around the community management. What are you thinking of to add also to the software to make it more digestible or a one-stop shop or?
So our ambition at the end is to reach a self-service software. So very low touch in terms of customer support and customer success, because it's the only way that we are going to reach mass adoption. I think there is plenty of offers today for very large corporate and luxury, which are more on an agency-based model, where you have a lot of people doing the work for you. What we want to do with Cohort is to make it so simple that even a mid-market company can use it by themselves. So I'm a bit, I don't know, I don't want to become a consulting company, and having a ton of people around me doing customer supports and customer success. And
we're not entrepreneurs for that.
Yeah, it's not the right way. So if you can't figure it out with your product, it's because something is not working in a way. If you have to put a lot of resources in market education and product adoption, there is something wrong with your product, I guess. It's my feeling.
Yeah, no, clearly in the onboarding or whether the whole positioning of the product.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's switch to the next subjects. The next subject in my podcast. It's more around the founder that you are.
Yeah.
If you look back, what do you find hard jumping into Web3? Like 2018, doing B2B was really hard. Okay, you said it was challenging and exciting at the same time, but is it like the spread of the resources that are not really easy to go look for and aggregate and make your own opinion, or is there something else? Maybe the community is not really reliable.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing which was hard is to reboot your mental framework, because when you go in Web3, I think you have to learn a lot of new things and forget about stuff you learned before. So that's the first thing. I guess the second thing was meeting new people, because Web3 at the very beginning, it was a very different community, of people really, which are either hardcore blockchain builder, backend engineers, very much into the tech, hackers, or you had a lot of people gravitating around it, which were not always that trustworthy. Okay. So I think you had to filter a lot at the time in the blockchain space. But now it has changed. I think it has changed so much. You have great people who joined this domain, and the ecosystem has developed tremendously. Yeah.
Paris is definitely a nice place to be here. I've been to London. It's great, but there is definitely another vibe. And in Lisbon, it's also nice, but there's definitely another vibe. Like here, you have builders who wants to conquer the world.
Exactly. I think you have very serious guys wanting to really do big things. And we have the Ledger guys, you have the Sorare guys, but you have Multis, Morpho, Angle. You have so many stuff, in Paris. I feel confident we are in the right place right now to build huge Web3 corporates. Yeah,
no, definitely. We have our chances, and we already have huge corporates. Ledger, Sorare, who else can we call? Sandbox is also here in Paris.
Yeah.
So and soon Cohort and again.
Yeah, exactly.
We will do even better.
Yes.
And again, looking back to your journey. Is there something you would do differently, or is there something you would have wished you had before?
So maybe I think back in 2018-19, it was the first big crypto winter, and I remember at Stratumn we were hesitating without playing down the blockchain aspect to make it less blockchainy, to make it easier to sell, or invest hardcore in blockchain. And I think at the time we chose first option, trying to play down the blockchain aspect. But I think we should have done the opposite and invest hardcore in the blockchain tech and the blockchain, value prop. And so I think it was my big learning of the first crypto winter is don't be afraid. It's going to recover. And
I totally agree with you, because I had kind of the same trouble with EquiSafe, and the hardest thing is to sell something where you're in the middle of two mega trends, basically.
Yeah.
and people are looking at you and they're like, but you're blockchain or you're not? So why are you putting blockchain if you're not?
Exactly. So you should really stick to your convictions and invest hardcore in blockchain, because that's what you need to do. So that would be my big learning if I just look back.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. Thank you. Do you have any newsletters, podcasts, books you follow or you?
The book. I'm not reading a lot of management books and stuff, because I find it very. If you read 10 pages, you have pretty much the whole book. There is one I really love, but it's a classic. It's the Crossing the Chasm.
Okay.
On how to sell and put to market very early stage innovation.
Okay.
And this is the only really useful book I read on creating early stage startup, because it tells it all. Then you have books from Horowitz, the hard things, but the hard things which are interesting. But this one is really, really good. And in terms of podcast, I really enjoy. It's a classic one, but I enjoy listening to Génération Do It Yourself, because you have so many different kind of profiles, that you learn each time something different. So I like this kind of podcast, very generalist. And on Web3, I guess I like what the guy from Redpoint, Tom Tunguns, is writing.
I don't know this guy.
It's very interesting because he's not that much into DeFi. He's a bit more into Web3 CRM marketing, which is a bit fresh, because DeFi, we have a lot of literature on that. And this guy is looking at Web3 and CRM, so I would recommend that.
Okay. Can you say the name again, please?
Tom Tunguns is working at Redpoint, which is a US VC.
Okay, yes, Redpoint, yeah, I heard about it. Okay. And are you following some newsletter in the ecosystem or some Twitter profiles?
I'm following The Big Whale, which I think they're doing a great job. Your PyratzLabs newsletter,
Thank you.
Of course. That would be the main two. And on Twitter, I'm like, not that much, really. I'm trying not to spend too much time because you can be very distracted by this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to focus on very few sources. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably right. And do you have like daily routines that allows you to maximize the efficiency that you have like every day?
So one thing I'm trying to do, but I'm not very good at it, I need to learn more, is to say no. So I like doing stuff, I like meeting people. And I remember when I joined eFounders, this guy told me the hard thing when you're a CEO is to say no. So I'm trying every day now to tell me, at the end of the day, I'm trying to say, okay, how many things did you say no to? Just to see if I'm trying to stick to my commitment. So I should do more of that because, as you know, time is the only thing you're lacking of, really. Yeah. And money as well, but that's not the issue. I mean, time is the real resources when you're creating a startup.
It's the next frontier.
Yeah, exactly. So trying to say no to a lot of things, and then I think the thing I'm really working on right now is team communication, because I'm very inspired by other teams, like the Alan guys who are a bit extreme in that.
Yeah, how does the model can work?
I'm like, this is blowing my mind, this stuff, because I love speaking to people, and I love, but I really see what they say about having every single decision documented, having team discussion documented. Yeah, it makes sense. But for me, it's really, really hard to do. So I'm trying to find our way at Cohort to do that. Okay.
Yeah. Alan, for me, I found it very surprising that everyone has the assiduity to just do it. And I think it's on GitLab, no? That they track everything. So how does
and what I learned is that even their reviews, end of year reviews, are public. So you can go and check what your teammates are doing and stuff.
True. They have a very transparent approach as well. So it's particular. I'm a very transparent guy within PyratzLabs and Dogami. But my CFO doesn't want me to be transparent. My HR manager doesn't want me to be transparent. So it's really hard to bring everyone towards this way of doing, and hard to find the balance as well. So lately, the market was a pretty big shit show.
Oh yeah.
What's your take on what happened and the impact on the market?
First thing is greed. I mean, the human being doesn't change, for sure. I think my take is that I was not really in favor of regulation, just because sometimes I think regulation is too,
really constraining.
Yeah, but it's not very fine enough to enable innovation and to really understand what is what, But this time I said, okay, it's the only way. It's the only way to protect people and the market from this kind of, shit show, which is harming the whole ecosystem. And so I guess now I'm ready for it, on the DeFi, not on DeFi, on centralized finance, and of course on DeFi we need to have a regulation coming in now. It's the time. So for me it has changed that really. Okay. I was very much let people do their stuff, don't regulate. People want to build great things, but no, some people don't want to build great things. They just want to make money. So I'm ready for regulation now. So I guess that's the only thing changed in my mind. And my other take is that maybe it's a good thing in a way. Maybe it's the end of this speculative crypto craziness, and we're gonna move to another phase where the value of cryptocurrencies are linked to the value of the blockchain protocol. So for instance, we were using Polygon. It's a great protocol. So this cryptocurrency, should take value over time, but because it's really much used and there is a lot of value in the network. So I would expect more correlation between cryptocurrencies and the value of the protocol and the actual usage.
That would be good, definitely. But then there is many things, because I'm also very critical on specifically FTX. If you're talking about FTX, that yes, indeed, we need like some regulation in the crypto asset, crypto market, blockchain, whatever. But there are also some how can I say? I mean, like, investment funds invested in a company at 32 billion without asking for a board.
Crazy.
So
crazy.
There was like many layers that was like destroyed before the crypto regulation.
Of course.
As well, and I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but coming back to last year,
yeah.
Everybody was super high.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody was definitely super high, and yeah, it's also.
But yeah, it was super high. But in a way, this valuation craziness of last year, I think it's going to be very hard for some entrepreneurs now, because they have to recover from crazy valuation. I don't know, they raise like 1 million valuation, a Series A or a seed. But what's next now?
Yeah.
What is the upside left for them? They're gonna go. They're gonna have like massive dilution. It's gonna be very hard for the coming 2 years. So. It was the VC craziness, and they have I think I'm a bit worried that we're going to have a lot of difficult stories for entrepreneurs next year. A lot of,
It's going to be challenging, but like we've passed the previous crisis.
Yeah.
But no, I'm thinking of all the young entrepreneurs who, couldn't raise funds, or were waiting to have more KPIs to raise funds. Now it's like super hard. Everybody's going to go hibernation mode for the next at least 9 months, and we'll see like the most resilient people after this. To finish our discussion, I like to have this ritual of asking funny questions. The first one is something I've been very much asked. When you're a CEO, you have all your friends who are not necessarily entrepreneur, and they're like often think of yourself, of your balance, etc. And I've been like wondering or philosophing around this concept of having self harmony or balance in your life. Are you more of the balanced people, or are you more of the harmony people?
I'm definitely the harmony people. I really don't care about balance. I mean, I'm very I'm very comfortable with unbalanced things. I don't mind when something is very hard or something very easy. I'm okay with that. What I like is to have the overall things working for me. So the harmony is very much more important for me than the balancing, because I don't need to have everything equal. It's life. Life is very complicated, very hard, very great. So harmony is very much important for me, and I find that and I guess my harmony comes a lot from my family as well, because it helps me filtering bad news, good news, and harmony, definitely.
Yeah, I'm also one of those, and the way I see it is that it's more important for me to agree with my situation than having like the same life balance as someone else around me. Like, we definitely don't have the same lives, not the same responsibility, not the same constraints. So your balance is not my balance.
Yeah.
But we all have the same self-definition of harmony. So
yeah, for sure.
Definitely more in the harmony side. And to finish, I like to to have broader thoughts around success. What's a successful entrepreneur? How do you define success? Is there a threshold or a gradient or whatever? What is success for you?
So I'm gonna go for like a Dalai Lama kind of answer, you know. Maybe it's my grand age, which helps me figuring out that now. I think like maybe a few years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, I would tell you like it's like having like a big company and reaching a valuation of X. But now, and I think it's been only a few months now, I've realized that the success is what I do right now, which is enjoying what I do every day, like crazy. And having fun, meeting new people, doing great things, building a team. I think that's the definition of success for me, and I'm just happy with that. And I think, so my finding of which is like simple as, very simple, is the success is in the journey, not in the destination. And that's a big change in my life, and I realized that 6 months ago, I guess, but it's really true.
That's an interesting take, and it reminds me of something else. Do you have some thoughts around how you could bring, how you can be impactful to the society using Cohort, or what's your answer to that?
Yeah, I wish I would be. I wish I would be, impactful for society. I think every entrepreneur wants to do something good. I think what I see with Cohort is the ability to give back control over data to customers and have better value share for brands and businesses. So that would be the impact I want to have with Cohort, is to make it more, respectful of people and make sure our customers, the brands and businesses, gain more value. But I think as a company, what I want to make sure is that we have like one thing which I really enjoy, which is really important to me, is the work-life balance or harmony, because especially for young parents, being one, I think it's very hard between 30 to 40 to do everything, having kids, having a good work, and having a nice life around it. And I think there is a lot of things to do around that, and maybe it's one thing I'm going to work on with Cohort.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Seraphie. It was a very good discussion.
Thanks, Bilal.
Thanks for receiving us in the office of Three Founders.
Yeah.
How many companies are at Three Founders so far?
So it's 2 companies live now, okay. And they have other new companies ready to launch maybe next year.
All right, cool. Congrats for everything, and I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bilal.